It's an At the Office edition of the East Bank Sports Show, serving up the hottest sports takes from right here in Cleveland, Ohio. It's your hosts, Noah, John, and Erik.
One more topic to talk about, and I could see me and John maybe being on the same side for once, but who knows? Who knows?
Don't you dare do that to
me. So let's switch. You know, we were talking about Super Bowls and the Cavs. Shout out to the Cavs once again for the championship and all the great memories. Let's talk. Would you rather win a Super Bowl or an Olympic gold medal? John, I'm going to have you start because I know Erik's take, and me and Erik are going to throw hands virtually because I know one of his points already, and I'm not happy about it. So, John, go ahead.
This one's loaded for me, but a quick point of clarification before we start. You mean us personally, or do you mean like our team, or you mean like would you, John Sharp, rather play for a Super Bowl winner or be like Usain Bolt?
Yeah, that's how I took it. That's how I took it. And I think, Erik, when we kind of propped this up with each other and decided if we were going to use it, I think that's how you took it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I looked a little more generally as a general NFL player versus Olympian, but yeah, we'll take it at us. It doesn't change my argument.
I don't want to overcomplicate things, but to keep it simple, standing on the top of a podium, representing your country, hearing the national anthem play, and having somebody put a gold medal around your neck as being the best in the world at something would mean more to me than being one of 60 Super Bowl champions. Personally, from how it feels and the dopamine hit and what it means for like just an accomplishment. I mean, you are the greatest in the world at something. To be said, you're the fastest man alive. You're the all-around best gymnast. I think, too, if you just said, hey, for free, nobody's going to give you a single dollar either way, or you make the same in both, I would much rather win a gold medal, stand on top of the podium, and hoist one for the United States of America than be one of a 53-man roster and win one of half a century's worth of Super Bowls. Not to say that the Super Bowl championship wouldn't be great. We just talked about that. The big caveat, the reason I said I don't want to make it complicated, is if you win a Super Bowl championship, even if you're the long snapper, you're making more money than an Olympic athlete. And the opportunity to like set my family up for life would be great. So my caveat is this. I would rather win an Olympic gold medal on the men's basketball team because
that's fantastic.
And that's the bottom line because I said so. Yeah, I think the gold medal will be cooler. You hear people like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James talk about how much it even meant to them after winning championships to win a gold medal. I don't think they're full of shit. I think they're being genuine. I think somehow, crazily enough, Steph Curry's going to play for his first Olympic team in this Olympics. He's got a boatload of rings and a bag full of accolades. He's pretty jacked up to be on the Olympic team. So I think gold medal trumps Super Bowl. But to Erik's point, like, I would take it. I'd take either for sure.
Erik?
First of all, I think this is my last show because John and I are the exact same take always, and I don't know that you need the both of us. Would I rather win a Super Bowl or an Olympic medal? An Olympic medal. Easy. Next question. Winning an Olympic medal means that you've reached the apex of your sport. Like John was saying, not only are you the best in the sport, but you're the best in the entire world, not just the United States. Listen, I'm as much of a fan of football as the next guy, but there's a wider world out there, Noah. It's a big place, and football is certainly the most popular sport in the world, but it's not American football. We call it soccer. So you're saying that you'd rather win a one nation championship that's meaningless to 98% of people? That's number one. Number two, it is much harder, in my opinion, to win an Olympic medal than it is to win a Super Bowl. There are 32 teams in the NFL, each of which have the potential to win a Super Bowl. So what you're saying is a backup lineman that is essentially a tackling dummy for all intents and purposes, is more pinnacled than Michael Phelps, you're crazy. There's no way. Not only can a smaller group of teams win the Super Bowl, but they also have the potential every single year. And depending on the position you play, for 12 or more years, an Olympian does not have that opportunity. It's only once every 4 years. But for some athletes like gymnasts, that window is one. It's one Olympiad. They're not ready for the Olympics, and then they're in their prime and they get one Olympic, one chance, and then they're aged out of the third. So they have one shot to win gold. Everything on the line where the smallest of mistakes is catastrophic. Lolo Jones is probably the perfect example of this. She was by far the best hurdler in the world. She's heading for gold. She clips the last hurdle and doesn't get a medal. 4 years earlier, she wasn't good enough yet. And 4 years later, she wasn't good enough anymore. She was still chasing that gold, to which she never got. She did medal on bobsled, which is an interesting note. Football requires size, it requires speed, and it requires some luck. The Olympics require you being genetically superior. Even subpar football teams, they can stumble their way into a championship. I know it doesn't happen often. Usually the best team wins, but with the right schedule and momentum, you can get a team that shouldn't necessarily be there winning a Super Bowl. In the Olympics, just about everybody's in peak physical condition, with decimal differences separating gold from everybody else. I knew a sports therapist once who told me that the guys that are running, the 100-meter sprint, they're all the exact same physically for the most part. It's the mental that separates those winners. So somebody like Usain Bolt is just a freak, because that doesn't happen. By the way, this question was asked on Sports Nation years ago, and the country was split exactly 50-50 on it. One last thing, I want to give a shout out to the Dallas Cowboy receiver and Hall of Famer Bullet Bob Hayes, because he's the only man in professional sports history to ever win both an Olympic gold medal in sprint, in fact, as well as a Super Bowl ring, which is pretty incredible.
It is incredible.
Hey, guys.
Oh, no, we can tell you why you're wrong if you tell us what you think.
Hey, guys, it's me again. So, to no surprise from either of you, I think my answer is I would 130,000% rather win a Super Bowl than a gold medal. I would rather win a Super Bowl than a gold medal for a plethora of reasons. The main one being I played 13 years, 12 years, whatever the hell it was, of football. Football is the sport that I, again, identify with the most. Football is a part of my character and who I am and who I'll always be, I feel like, just because of, playing from college to high school to junior high, et cetera, et cetera. The pinnacle to me in terms of athletic achievement for what I set out to do in terms of my life, granted, I only played D3 football and was a backup, and I was perfectly fine with that because I got to be around the sport. But the pinnacle of the sport that matters the most to me, that, you say you dedicate your life to, that kind of thing, is football. So to me, if it's, standing on the podium as the greatest shot put thrower in the world, or standing on the podium with 30 dudes that we all went out for 17 weeks plus the postseason to get together and win the Lombardi Trophy, no feeling to me would be sweeter than lifting that silver football high up in the sky and saying, I am a Super Bowl champion.
And I'm going to Disney World.
I think you have
I'm going to Disney World.
And I'm going to Disney World. I think you have a little bit, I don't want to call it a skewed perspective because it's not skewed. I think you're unique in the fact that American football is so popular in America and so not popular everywhere else. Because when I first heard this question, I thought back to my sports days. Same thing, D3 baseball. I only played for a couple of years. I played hockey and baseball, hockey with the Kelseys at Heights. I think we hit on that. I could win a gold medal in hockey and still be a pro athlete and win a Stanley Cup. You could still win in soccer. You could still win in so many other sports. Football is one that's not international, but I'll throw this out there for you. Sports transcends, the Olympics transcend just sports. I think back to the most like special moments of watching certain things for me as a hockey guy. The Miracle on Ice and beating the Soviets is one of the greatest moments in American sports history. There's nothing that equates to that playing football. Tom Brady will never have Miracle on Ice status. He is the GOAT. He's great. He's wonderful. He's all the things that Tom Brady is, no shade. There are times where it means more than just the sport too. And I think that's an opportunity that the Olympic medal gives you that some other things don't, right? The Michael Phelps run where he was just bringing in gold medals and stuff. I mean, that was unbelievable theater. Him and Ryan Lochte and the relay team and the gymnast, Dominique Dawes and the figure skaters. There's so many.
Simone Biles.
Oh my God. Yeah. And recently with the whole Simone Biles and that whole team too. I mean, and it's only once every 4 years. I just think there's something, if you played any other sport than football at the level you did, you might change your answer. I think for football for you, it's just one of those rare things, right? Like Eric's a big tennis guy. You win a gold medal playing tennis, so you can have the best of both worlds. Like football is one of those unique sports where it's like it's all in America and nobody else kind of follows it outside of the country.
I should say that baseball was my sport. When, like everybody else, when I was a kid, I was in the basement pretending it was game 7, 2 outs, I'm up to bat, or I'm getting the last pitch and pretending that I'm the guy. So growing up idolizing American sports, I certainly had that same kind of perspective. But I think John's exactly right. Of course, I don't want to speak for Noah, but I love my country. What I love most about my country is what it can be, not necessarily what it is. It's that city upon a hill that we're still trying to build and the possibility, and representing that and going out and putting yourself forward in the world for all our flaws. You could argue still the best country in the world. Almost anybody would give up their citizenship to become a U.S. citizen, and representing that on the national stage by way of sports, with everything else surrounding it, by the way, with a Cold War with the Soviet Union. You had Olympics where Hitler is overseeing a black man winning and raising his fist in the air. It transcends sports, like John said. It's bigger than sports. And to be a part of something like that, I think is just, a Super Bowl is a once in a lifetime thing. When you put the Olympics in perspective, it's where legends and history are born and converge together. I just don't think you can put a price on that. And I like John's caveat because, yeah, I want Tom Brady money. I don't want Olympian money. Absolutely. I want the career and notoriety. And we're still talking about Tom Brady constantly. I brought up Michael Phelps, but unless it's the time of the year, you're not really talking about these guys. So 100% agree there. But for what it means to the wider world and our position in the world, for me, my money's definitely on an Olympic gold medal.
Let me ask you guys this, and we're already hitting over an hour, so go figure. It's just another day at the office, right? Why do these pro athletes then, LeBron hasn't played since 2012 for a gold medal, opt out of it, and B, I think when we talk, legacy of a player, right? Who brings up how many gold medals Michael Jordan had?
Carmelo Anthony brings it up every chance he can. That's all he has.
But how often is that actually used in an argument that you see in a day-to-day or even on your bigger sports show, ESPN, whatever?
It's apples and oranges to me. And here's why. You asked me and Eric, we're sitting here. We've never been pro athletes. We don't know what it's like. We're just speculating, right? LeBron James is a brand unto himself. He's a specimen. He is this whole business, and he has a contract with a National Basketball League team. and with sponsors and with all of those endorsements for hundreds of millions of dollars. His responsibilities are different and what he's going for are different. I think you could say, hey, here's 17 pro athletes you saw opt out of wanting to win a gold medal, and could still say out of round numbers, 400 million Americans, 200 million of them would still rather win a gold medal. What LeBron James means to so many different people means his priorities are different. If you ask LeBron James when he was 17, would you rather win an Olympic gold medal or would you rather win a Super Bowl? He might have said gold medal at that point. Things change as people become who they are, get older, get the fame and the accolades doing their thing. So I kind of think it's a different question because these guys have responsibilities and thought processes that are different than ours because they got so much else going on.
And it is such a specific sport too. Olympic basketball is not the be all end all of the Olympics, of course. It's the swimming events, it's the track and field events. I get what you're saying, and I agree with what John's saying. I just think it's so impressive to me. Don't get me wrong. It's impressive to grow up and become a professional athlete in any sport and to do anything, let alone win a championship. That's amazing, right? But to be a guy on a team, winning a ring, and having the potential, let's say you're the backup linebacker for the Chiefs and you have 3 rings, I just don't think that means as much as dedicating your entire life to a sole sport that you have one shot, one opportunity, as Eminem put it, to go out there and win. You're hinging everything that you are in one Olympic Games. I think that's incredible. I mean, either way, we're talking about the best of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Obviously, the United States would go undefeated if we had American football in the Olympics. Absolutely, we'd have every gold medal since its inception. But the effort and for not a lot of money, we're talking about if you're at the top, the pinnacle, yes, you get some sponsorship money. You think about Michaela Maroney. She's doing commercials and she's on air when the Olympics are airing, but it's nothing compared to professional athletes in American sports. So to dedicate yourself purely for the love and the joy of that sport and not getting much in return, I think LeBron loves basketball. Don't get me wrong. I think he's still playing because he loves the sport, but I'm not sure if he weren't worth $1 billion, would he still be putting his body through that? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe he would, but these athletes that are doing it just for the chance at gold, it's just more impressive to me.
Yeah, we one other thing too, to similar vein that you got me thinking of too. I know a guy who worked for the Cavs. He was on the sideline every game. He wasn't a coach. He was the guy his name is Jeff. No names, please, on the last part. But he basically worked on like player availability and interviews. So he was like on the plane with Kyrie when his shoe was released, and he was in the locker room after the finals. He has a picture with the trophy and champagne. He has a Cavs championship ring in a lockbox in the safety deposit box at KeyBank. And it's like, great. So when we say win an NBA championship or win a Super Bowl, to Eric's point too, like I might change the answer if you said, would you rather be Patrick Mahomes or a gold medal discus guy? Like that's a different conversation, but just saying, would you rather win or win it? Because there's people who win. The general manager wins a championship ring. Okay, well, he counts, right? He won a championship. He gets a ring. Like that's a different level than being Tom Brady too. So
interesting.
Yeah. I think the whole thing's interesting, and I'm kind of curious what the breakdown is. Like if, in a perfect world, we could just put LeBron James next to me up here in the top corner and be like, which one would you rather win? And, ask him that question, because I'm curious, because I think in terms of legacy, I think in terms of, star power, stardom, or whatever, an NBA championship or a finals MVP or even an NBA MVP would mean more than an Olympic gold medal. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying I disagree with your guys' take, because 100% I agree that there's levels to this. And for me, it's Super Bowl because I'm a football guy. To you, Erik, it's gold medal because of everyone's background. I'm just curious what the thought process is for an individual that is actually in those shoes and then opts out of the 2016 and the 2020, then 2021 Olympics, and, decides when he's 40 to opt back in and play in the last one and basically be a part of Dream Team 3.0 this year, which I'm very excited to watch, might I add. I'm just curious what that thought process is like and everything.
I wonder too. I have a statement and then I have a question for you guys. The statement is, I wonder too how the different generations of when you're born impacts that answer as well. There is a notion of patriotism and maybe even exceptionalism that is baked in a little more to, I think, John and I's generation than to yours. I think, they don't, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think they say the Pledge of Allegiance in school anymore.
They
We
do
did that every single day.
I did. I don't know, John, you have the kids. So.
I do. They still say the pledge.
I'll do that. Interesting. Okay. I've heard some schools have taken it out. John and I were alive and can remember 9/11, such a pivotal moment in our nation's history. So I think there are levels too that go to what it means to represent your country versus a team or what you're interested in. And I think that definitely changes. My question for you guys is, going back to John's comments about Jeff, whose ring is in Key Bank. If you guys were in a similar position, you're not a player, you're just on the team. Let's say you're pulling in a modest salary, a normal salary. Do you guys sell that ring?
No.
No.
Not unless times were that tough. No, never.
It'd have to be really tough. And to be honest, I don't even know if I keep it. I think I give it to my dad.
Interesting.
But yeah, to your point, Erik, too, I loved your last point too. To your point before your comment. Again, I'm going to date myself, but I was like in kindergarten when the Berlin Wall came down. So like, growing up, very different world for Noah than it was for me. That's for sure. But no, I don't think I can't. I definitely wouldn't sell it. I'm not 100% sure what I'd do with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell it either unless, it was an absolute, dire situation, lose the house or keep the ring type deal.
But if you're talking
tiers, did you know that, by the way?
I was going to say, what are they even worth?
Different tiers of championship rings. So the players got like I'm going to use round numbers and kind of make them up, but the players got like the $100,000 ring where everything is legit. Players and coaches, GM, the owner, obviously Dan bought it for himself, but yeah. Then there's like that. I'm really, really close to the team. So Jeff got like the next tier, and his ring is only worth $30,000. Then you get outside of that because every single solitary person who worked for the Cleveland Cavaliers got a ring, but like the maintenance staff and the concession sellers, they're
and me if we win this year.
Yeah, they get like they're worth like $500.
Well, I have that one from Alibaba. I mean,
yeah.
Interesting. I didn't realize there were tiers. I thought everybody kind of got that. I guess that makes more sense, but
yeah. Could you imagine handing like me, part-time employee, $100,000 ring for?
No, now that you say it, no.
Right.
But my question was premised on that. I think they were more than 100, but the premise was, let's say it's 200. That's a couple kids through college. When you start talking numbers like that, I think you have to take it into consideration. I didn't realize there was a tier 30,000. Yeah, that's a Kia.